Hi everyone, thanks so much for tuning in. This is Kathy, and today I'll be creating a card using the Piggy Pebbles stamp set from My Favorite Things. I started out by stamping them onto a piece of 80-pound Neenah Solar White cardstock using My Favorite Things Extreme Black Hybrid ink. I'll be doing some Copic coloring, and both the paper and the cardstock. Both the cardstock and the ink are Copic friendly. So with these little pigs, I kind of played around with a variety of color combinations before I finally settled in on one. I wanted them to be pink, but I didn't want them to be bright pink. I wanted them to be more of a peachy flesh tone pink, I guess would be the way to put it. So the color combination that I decided on was E00, R00, and R20. For their little hooves, I did BV25. I'm really liking the BVs lately. It seems I kind of like those for my grays rather than the cool grays or the warm grays. But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, so about Piggy Pebbles. I was not aware of this, but it turns out that there is an actual real live Piggy Pebbles. And the only reason I know about that is because My Favorite Things had actually done a live video on Facebook. It is the owner's daughter who is Pebbles' mom. And Pebbles the pig was actually part of the video, and she was entirely too cute because her mama had some snacks for her, and Pebbles kept nosing at the little containers that the snacks were in, and she eventually ended up getting one of them open and was just kind of helping herself to snacks. And so her mama ended up picking up the snacks and kind of hiding them underneath her legs so that Pebbles couldn't get to them. But she kind of went over how she came about getting Pebbles the pig, and during the month of April, a portion of the sales of Piggy Pebbles stamp set and die set was donated to Oinkbox, and she kind of went over that in the video as well. Anyway, that's a little bit of what I learned about Piggy Pebbles and how adorable she is. Oh, and she's so smart. She actually does little tricks and stuff to earn her treats. So if you are on Facebook, you might want to go check out the video because she is so cute. It almost makes me want to get a pig. Anyway, back to the coloring. After I had finished coloring the pigs, and I ended up stamping 3 of them, I really wasn't sure what direction I was going to go in. For my card, I ended up only using 2 of them. I colored all of the pigs the exact same way with the same colors. And then for the little flower pot and the flower, I did very simple coloring. And I'll make sure to list all of the colors that I used in the description below, as well as over on my blog. After I had finished all the coloring, I started to work on a background, and I wanted to use this English brick stencil from My Favorite Things. So I taped it down to another piece of 80-pound Neenah Solar White cardstock and used my mini ink blending tool with Hickory Smoke Distress Oxide ink to stencil that pattern onto the cardstock. And I wanted to try and add a little bit more texture by adding what Chip Gaines refers to as the German schmear. I'm not sure if you watch Fixer Upper or not, but there was an episode where they treated the brick with a type of, I'm not really sure if it was a paint that they used, I can't really remember, but they just kind of smudged this white paint over part of the brick, not all of it. They didn't cover it, so some of the natural brick was kind of still peeking out. To get that look, what I did was I used my Memento Lux wedding dress ink with a very small makeup blending brush, and just went over a few areas on the part that I had stenciled. Then I needed to kind of ground my brick house, so I grabbed my T-square ruler and a fine tip black pen and just drew 2 lines. And as you can see, even with a T-square ruler, I cannot draw a straight line. And that I drew those lines in just to have a little bit of a separation, I guess, to have just a tiny little bit of a foundation for the brick house to be sitting on. And I colored in that line with a W4 marker because that was darker than the hickory smoke ink, and it did offer up that little bit of separation. So once I was done adding in that little bit there, I grabbed a couple of Post-it notes so that I could add a ground of grass, and I just used Mowed Lawn Distress Oxide ink, and I wasn't trying to get a perfect blend on it. I just wanted to get a little bit of color down, because I'm going to end up going over that with a couple of Copic markers just to add some blades of grass. And the color I used for that was YG17, and then here, because I had a little bit of a line between the foundation and the grass, I just went in with YG03 just to kind of fill in that little white spot. And then I just do random tiny flicks with YG17 just to have a nice green lawn in front of my little house. So I continue doing that until I'm happy with all the grass. Once I finished up adding in a little bit of grass, I kind of played with the placement of the little pigs. I had an idea. I thought it would be kind of cute to have the little pig with his hooves up by his face looking out a window, because his friend just brought a flower to him, and he's obviously surprised by looking out the window. So I used some stitched rectangle dies to cut a rectangle not only in the brick wall, but also from a piece of white cardstock to create a frame so that I could frame in that window. After I had all of those little pieces cut out, I just adhered the white frame around the window with liquid glue on the front of the stenciled panel. I wanted to create the illusion of a painted wall behind the little pig who is looking out the window. So I took a piece of bluish gray cardstock and, just for placement, placed it on the front of a top folding A2 size note card, and then kind of placed the pig where I thought that he would be, and then made pencil marks around his ear so I would know where to adhere him. And then on the front of the note card, I did another pencil mark at the top corner of the blue cardstock so I would know where to put that back down when I adhered that to the front of the card. I adhered the pig down with just two-sided tape, or with just a tape runner, and then adhered the grayish blue cardstock down using the same tape runner onto the front of the top folding white note card. And then I used a whole lot of foam tape on the back of the stenciled panel and adhered that down, and then adhered the little pig with the flower to the front, and that finishes up my card for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you've not yet subscribed, I'd love it if you would. And don't forget to ring the bell so you're notified every time a new video is posted. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.